Hello, welcome to ATI 4205. This session will address short-term, long-term contracts and other methods of integrating and partnering with the selected supplier. The session will discuss challenges in measuring supplier performance and efficiency. It will also discuss the making, the delivery, and the return phases of supplier operations. Part of the discussion will be addressing the importance of the reverse logistics and the benefits of an efficient reverse logistics system. Once a supplier being selected, a contract will be created. The contract will include the standards, operating procedures, and policies related to the flow of material, information, and funds. Contracts could be short-term, renewable on an annual basis, or long-term that will lead to partnership and integration at the end of the contract or after a while. The long-term contract which leads to partnership and integration might include vendor development, which means that the company will assist their vendor by training their employees. So some of the companies will send their employees to the vendor to train them on the way that the product should look like, the design, and other things. So by providing design feedback and adjustments, you can adjust the design if needed, and by helping in engineering and production, and by establishing policies and procedures that will increase the efficiency of the supply chain. Supplier integration will develop the ability to goods or services, which is like a product previously purchased. Integration may be forward towards the customer or backward towards the supplier or supplier of suppliers. It can improve cost, quality, and inventory, but requires capital, managerial skills, and demand to sustain a healthy integration. Integration might be risky in industries with rapid technologies changes. If we have a fast change in the technology, that will be risky to follow that type of integration or partnership. This figure shows the idea of vertical integration, where the company can implement forward integration by owning the distributor, or implementing a backward integration by buying the supplier, or by implementing both backward and forward. For example, an automobile industry can own the steel supplier and the distribution system. In fact, they can vertically integrate backward all the way to the mines that produces iron ore. The other option is KEIRETSU network, which is in the middle ground between few suppliers and vertical integration. In this network, the supplier becomes part of the company coalition. In this case, the company provides financial support for their supplier through loans or maybe owning major stock share. Both the company and the selected supplier expect to establish long-term relationship and provide technical expertise and stable deliveries. This strategy may extend through several levels of the supply chain. An integrated supplier system will ensure accurate data from the vendor, which could reduce warehouse or inventory size. The integration will create a single stage of control to replenishment. It can also assist in selecting a vendor-managed inventory strategy. An integrated supplier can provide the opportunity for a blanket order, which is a purchase order with the supplier that will allow multiple delivery dates over a period of time. So you order one bulk order, one big order, and then you ask them to deliver it on pieces over time. The integration can provide opportunities for consistency, standardization, drop shipping, and special packaging. You can, when you see some of the items that has the Dell logo or the Apple logo, or it can be made by the company and then it can be customized or a special package to have the logo or have the package for that company. One of the major operations connecting the firm with their supplier is purchase order processing. How do we do that? Through purchase order processing. The purchasing process is an interacting structure of people, equipment, methods, and controls that is designed to complete purchase orders. Purchase order form or procedure should be used to request products and or services from suppliers. The purchase order will be used to ensure receiving the right items with the right price at the right time. So how does it work? Usually the purchase requisition will be sent from inventory control department or from a department to purchasing department. The purchasing department will create the purchase order either manually or using electronic purchasing system. With the current technology and advancement of technology, there is no manual anymore. It's all electronic. The system enables businesses to track POs and submit them electronically through the internet or through intranet between the company and the vendor or the supplier. If there are no contracts involved, then the purchase order by itself is considered the legally binding document between both parties. Purchase order notification sent to receiving department, and also another notification will be sent to accounts payable process. Once the goods or services arrive at the buying organization, they will typically go through some form of goods receiving process, especially the physical goods, where the goods are checked to ensure that they match what was ordered and that they are of the correct quality with no damage. From the supplier side, an invoice will be issued, which will be either combined with the goods or sent separately. This will be received by the finance department, processed and paid, assuming that the goods are received are correct and again with no damage, no problems, and there is no need to return. The receiving notification will be sent to accounts payable to be processed for payment. At the same time will be sent to purchasing department to close the purchase order as received and paid. This figure shows the cycle of the procurement and payment as mentioned in the previous slide. With current advancement in technology, purchase orders can be placed electronically through the internet. An immediate tracking number will be issued and a transaction will be initiated through electronic data interchange system or transaction system. Once the product leaves the vendor, an advanced shipping notice will be sent to the purchasing department telling them that your order has been shipped. To ensure efficient purchasing process and selecting the right product, vendors can provide online catalogs or catalogs published by third party to list the items that's available online or that's available with that vendor or with that supplier for the company to purchase from. One of the options provided by electronic procurement is auctions. These auctions can be maintained by buyers, sellers, or intermediaries. It has low barriers to entry and it increases the potential number of buyers. The organization can request a quote electronically through standard request for quote, which can improve supplier selection. In addition, the electronic procurement can provide real-time inventory tracking since it will be marked shipped from supplier and received at the firm. To measure the vendor performance, the company will look at vendor reliability, which is the ability of a company to consistently supply an acceptable product at the required time. The company will look at the value through measuring quality, accuracy, and on-time delivery. And the company will look at other risk factors such as financial health, operational performance environment, business processes and practices, and enabling behaviors or cultural factors. An enterprise should measure supplier performance because you can't manage what you don't measure. If you measure suppliers, they will improve. If you put them under the pressure of, I'm measuring you, I'm trying to see how efficient and the quality and the response, then they will try to thrive to that level of pressure or requirements from the company. You can also uncover and remove hidden waste and cost drivers in the supply chain. Since you are monitoring, you are measuring the performance, then you know if there is a waste, and if there is a waste, you can minimize that waste, you can eliminate the waste using different strategies or different methods. And you can, if it's from the vendor side, then you can send your employees or engineers to train and assist in the design to eliminate that waste. You can facilitate supplier performance improvement through giving them again training, or you can give them seminars, guidance, whatever they need to improve their performance. You can increase competitiveness by shrinking order cycle times and inventory levels. Once you integrate, once you have this partnership with the supplier and you work with rhythm, you can reduce the speed of ordering and receiving, which will increase the competitiveness with other companies. Now it's seamless and it can come through, so you can receive it with accuracy and ship it directly to the customer. You can make informed business decisions that impact the enterprise, not to mention the effect of that on inventory and warehousing operations. Going back to the SCORE model and the making phase, after sourcing and receiving the correct components, the next phase starts, which is the making phase. So we start making the product. This is the phase where manufacturing and production are the main steps. A decision will be made to choose the manufacturing strategy. Are we going to manufacture, process, make to order, or make to stock, or engineer to order? Once we decide on strategy, the make step will include production activities, packaging, staging product, and releasing that product. It also includes managing the production network, equipment and facilities, and transportation. So basically we are thinking of everything that's needed to get that product to the customer in this phase. The next phase of SCORE model is the delivery. We're done, we made it, now we need to deliver it to the customer, to the end user, or to the next company or partner. Delivery includes order management, warehousing, and transportation. It also includes receiving orders from the customers and invoicing the customer to receive the payment. Once product has been received, then we have the payment processing or the transaction of the funds. This step involves management of finished inventories, assets, transportation, product life cycles, and importing and exporting requirements. The last phase of SCORE model is the return phase. Companies must be prepared to handle the return of containers, packaging, or defective products. The return involves the management of business rules, return inventory, assets, transportation, and regulatory requirements. Return is called reverse logistics because we're going now in the reverse direction. That's why we call it reverse logistics, or the process of moving goods from their typical final destination back to suppliers or to the supplier due to defects or for disposal. Most supply chains will stop measuring the success of their goods once the product is shipped and is delivered on time. But what if your customer receives an incomplete order? What if the ordered item does not match the product description? What if the customer just changes their mind about their purchase? What if the product was damaged or defect? So now we have to think of a way to send back this item to the supplier. So all these cases qualify for reverse logistics and should be included in the performance measures of the supplier success. The phases of product return include the physical shipping of the returned product, quality testing the returned product to replicate the error or identify the flaw, documenting any problems with the returned item, the deassembling or disassembling and repairing, recycling, or restocking of the returned item. And that's when you see refurbished item on the shelf. Refurbished means it has been returned and disassembled, repaired, and if we need, we can either throw some part of it in recycling or we can restock it for sale. To understand the flow of returned product, we need to look at the following. First, the volume. Are the same items being returned over and over? Is this happening in large volumes? If yes, then the company might have larger problem than few faulty units. Then they have to look at the design from the beginning and they have to review the design and change it. We need also to look at the percent of sales. What percentage of your sales are lost to product returns, and how many of these products can be reincorporated into your supply chain via reverse logistics. On average, manufacturing companies spend 9 to 15% of total revenue on the return process. So if we can reduce that, we can work on that and make sure that our product, when it goes out, it's with high quality and less deficiency, then we can reduce the percentage, and that will increase the profit. We need also to look at the condition of the returned product. Is the product failing after a specific operation? Can you determine any patterns of failure among the returned products? Do we have any quality assurance and design issues? If we do, again, we have to have a buffer before sending the item to make sure that it's according to quality and it doesn't have any design issues. The financial value. Without monitoring and managing your reverse logistics, your company could be losing millions of dollars in potential value. So we need to understand how it works and make sure that we don't have more return than our sales. An efficient reverse logistics system can reduce costs by planning for returns and making the return order right. You can reduce related costs like administration, shipping, transportation, tech support, question and answers, etc. Faster service, quickly refunding or replacing goods can help restore customer faith in brand. So even if they receive something defective, next time they will buy because of the good experience that they have with the return and customer service. And customer retention dealing with errors is just as important as making sales. And then of course reduced losses and unplanned profits, which is recover the loss of investment in your failed product by fixing and restocking the unit, scrapping it for parts, or repurposing it in a secondary market. So that will be all for this session. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you and have a great day.